Happy Tuesday. It is a new week, a new episode, and we're going to keep this same theme going into and through the holiday season. A tip for you to think about. This is also kind of a mindset shift, because if this has never been something that has been pointed out to you for this perspective, going to be a new mindset shift. You're going to have to kind of work through this mentality, I think. And then also it's something that is going to help you and give you an advantage, I guess, post-holiday season. All right. But first, a couple things. Number one, I want to shout out a local business of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So if you're in the area, and actually I believe that she maybe mails and ships as well. I'm not actually quite 100% sure. But anyways, she does flower preservation. And so I knew that after my wedding, after me and Kiana's wedding, I wanted to preserve my flowers. And I'm kicking myself right now because I got the letter B, which I am so happy I got that, but I wish I would have gotten an additional larger one, because most of my bouquet, she actually dried my flowers. So I have them. And so that is amazing. At least I have that. But the actual flower preservation is just in a small letter B, and it looks amazing. I freaking love it. And so if you are wanting to preserve your wedding bouquet or any flowers of any sort, highly recommend you check out Cassidy Rose Creative. I will link her website in the show notes. But anytime I find a small business that I love and appreciate, I like to share that. So wanted to throw that out there. Second thing I wanted to throw out there is, so today's Monday, the day before this is actually getting released, and I kind of woke up meh. It was a meh day, low vibe type of day, and I don't know, it's kind of like I'm just going through the movements. Maybe it's hormonal. I'm sure I'm getting my period soon at some point coming up. Maybe that's it, or maybe it just was kind of one of those days, and I kind of have shifted that now. So it was low vibe, blah, like just not super happy, positive. And that's okay. So first of all, I want you to know that that's okay if that's you and that happens. But secondly, I encourage you to do something that you love and enjoy. Whether it shifts your mood or not, I don't know. It could, but it could not. For me, it did. I get energy from doing things that I love. One of the things is when I train clients in home. So I did that, and that helped. And then also just getting shit done, honestly, whether it's cleaning or I know that I cannot scroll on social media. I cannot do that. So I didn't do that. I put my headphones in, got some shit done. One thing that I needed to get done, and it took a while, and I felt a lot better. I feel a lot better. So like I said, I encourage you to choose one thing that you enjoy and love. And it maybe will help, maybe not. It's okay. You don't have to force it. It's not like I was trying to force a positive emotion. I felt what I was feeling, and I was okay with that, knowing that at some point, whether it was today or tomorrow or the next day, that would shift for me. And it did. So cheers to that. So here's my tip for you today to focus on for the next week until we connect again, until you listen to another episode or tip where I am talking about this through the holidays. And this one is specifically to using the holiday food, treats, all the gatherings, all the parties, work parties, family parties, all the things to your advantage. I always hear of people saying, you know what, my only goal this holiday season is to maintain and to not gain. First of all, put the damn scale away, especially during the holidays. Like, do not step on that thing. So I always hear people, they want to just maintain. Or they say they would like to lose weight during the holidays, and they try to restrict, they try to eat less of things. They tried not typical, but like this is what happens generally, even not during the holidays, but they really try and focus on eating less at specific holiday parties, or they have the goal of eating like one treat at the holiday party, and that's it. Okay, so I want you to kind of throw that all out the window right now. And I want you to shift your mindset into using all of the gatherings and food and all of the things to your advantage by being in a 2-month season of a building muscle phase or maybe let's just call it a building phase. Now, this is going to be similar to a bulking phase, but I hate using the word bulking because I feel like especially for females, it's like, I don't want to get bulky. Well, first of all, you will not get bulky. The bulky that you are like thinking of, like when you see females in bodybuilding who are like huge and muscly, as a female, naturally, we do not have the testosterone amount to be able to do that. Like, even if you tried, it's like, even if I tried to get that way, I will not. So this is why I want to call it a building phase. I want you to focus on building strength in your workouts. I want you to focus on building muscle, adding strength, adding weights to the workouts that you're doing. I want you to focus on adding protein to help support the muscle building phase and to help support the goal of these next 2 months. And rather than focusing on eating less at certain parties or only eating a certain amount of treats or whatever it may be, or staying away from this food or staying away from that food, I want you to focus on what can you add to your plate first that's going to help support this building phase. And I always, of course, talk about this even not during the holiday season, but to not restrict yourself. Like maybe it is, you know what, I'm going to have a sweet treat every single party that I go to. Or just having intentionally, like in your mindset, giving yourself permission to do it versus trying to restrict yourself of that. So you may have heard, or you may know that in order to lose weight, to lose body fat, we have to be in calorie deficit, meaning we have to burn more calories than we take in. And while that's true, there's so much other things going on, so much more to it. But when people are in that calorie deficit, it's also called a cut. Again, that is kind of like a bodybuilding type of word that gets also thrown around a lot, even not in the bodybuilding world. But that's essentially what it is. We're eating in a calorie deficit. I don't want you to focus on that in the next 2 months. That can come in January, in the new year, in February, okay? So again, these next 2 months, we're focusing on the building phase. So you're probably gonna maybe eat more calories, but this is a great way to support your workouts and to support the muscle building phase. So then that way you're setting yourself up for success when the new year comes and setting yourself up for, maybe it is a calorie deficit, but also asking yourself, could I maybe be in this building phase for a couple more months and then going into a calorie deficit phase or a cut phase? And you might naturally do that because after the holidays are over and there's not as much parties and food and gatherings and treats and all of that, you probably will naturally eat less anyways because those foods won't be around. And also a bonus tip here, the holiday season is not the only time that you can have X food. I used to tell myself, well, the holiday season, this is the only time I'm going to allow myself to have this food. For example, puppy chow and chocolate-covered pretzels or any of the treats, really. I told myself it was the only chance I was going to be able to eat those things. And so I went ham. If you listen to my previous episode, that I went on like a 1 to 2 week binge. It's basically what it was. And that was very common. It would happen whenever I told myself I only allowed those certain foods during certain times of the year, and especially and specifically the holiday season. So we need to cut that out. We need to allow foods in our minds, allow full permission to eat whatever. And now I'm not saying like, okay, I'm gonna go eat whatever you want and eat like fast food all the time and eat all these things. Like, we gotta be smart about it still, right? But it's that intention of allowing ourselves those foods, so we let go of that restriction, we let go of that all or nothing mentality. And then reminding ourselves that it is not the only time that you can have X food. Now, maybe your grandma makes a certain cookie and that's the only time that you're gonna eat it. Then of course you wanna enjoy that. And of course that's kind of like a special situation. Like, it is the only time, but it has more to do with understanding that any food, any treat, anything we can have during any time of the year. So that's this week's tip. A little bit of mindset, a little bit of action taking, because I want you to focus on the building muscle, lifting heavier, eating more protein, taking advantage of the holiday season by, yes, probably you could eat more, but also setting yourself up for success, because then after the holiday season, you will probably naturally eat less. You're going to go back to the kind of regular routine of the foods that you normally eat or meal prep or whatever it may be. And then if you can really focus on building muscle, you're also supporting your metabolism, and you're going to support your metabolism for when you do work out and when you're just sitting on the couch. Get more bang for your buck. And then after the holidays, same thing. You're getting more bang for your buck. You're increasing that metabolism. You're going to naturally eat less, and then you can go from there. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions on anything that I talked about, please feel free to reach out to me either on Instagram at SophiaDawn41. That's SophiaDawn41. I will, of course, link that in the show notes. I'm also on Facebook, and you can email me at floatthegrowpodcast@gmail.com. And make sure to subscribe if you would like to get automatic episodes downloaded and or notified so you can see each holiday tip for staying on track through the holidays and using the holidays to your advantage. All right, that's that. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I love you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Flow with the Grow. I'll see you next week for your daily dose of positivity and growth.